From the Ministry of the Presidency in Georgetown, this is This Week with the President.
Welcome to This Week with the President, a news magazine which provides you with an in-depth look at the policies, programs, and work of the President of Guyana. In the highlights this week, President meets with UN Secretary General's Good Offices representative. President plugs education entrepreneurship in communities across Guyana as he distributes kites for Easter. Guyana and FIFA to explore greater collaboration to raise the profile of football in Guyana, and President calls for multi-stakeholder fashioned regional action plan for Pomeroon Supanam at Trade Fair. Stay tuned for these and more stories on This Week with the President. On Wednesday evening, the President was paid a courtesy call by the United Nations Secretary General's personal representative in the Good Offices process on the border controversy between Guyana and Venezuela, Ambassador Dag Havlan Nylander, and a high-level UN delegation. Ambassador Nylander was appointed earlier this year to ensure the continuation of the Good Offices process as laid out by the Secretary General until the end of 2017 with a strengthened mandate of mediation and with the understanding that if by 2017 no progress is made, then the next step will be the International Court of Justice for a final ruling on the border issue. In Guyana, kites are synonymous with Easter. And over the past week, the President embarked on his annual kite distribution exercise with the aim of ensuring that all children, particularly those in outlying communities, enjoy the festive season. The President made visits to Friendship and Kabakaburi in the Pomeroon, Wakenham, Legwan and Parika in the Essequibo Islands, West Demerara, Buxton and Lusignan on the East Coast, Moritaro in the Demerara River and Bartica, where he distributed kites and specially designed exercise books. He told the children of Moritaro and Malali that the custom of flying kites was first brought to Guyana by Chinese immigrants, and today it is one that is enjoyed by people of all ethnicities.
I thought that by coming here today, we'd be able to continue this tradition by providing kites for children so that they could participate in what is a Guyanese festival. It doesn't matter if you're Christian, it doesn't matter if you're Hindu, it doesn't matter if you're Muslim. All Guyanese, as part of their culture, fly kites on Easter Monday. True. And we are here to distribute kites.
But more than just the kite distribution, the President used this opportunity to continue to reach out to citizens as part of ensuring that equal access is provided to all Guyanese in pursuit of that good life. Much of the President's message to the residents surrounded the benefits of education, agro-processing, entrepreneurship, green energy, and infrastructural developments. At Parika, the President encouraged the children to stay in school as education is key to ensuring equal access.
In Guyana, we believe in equality. Every African, every Indian, every Amerindian, every Chinese or Portuguese boy or girl must be treated as equal. But in order to achieve that equality, we must first have equal access to education. And we have a saying in our government, every child in school. We believe that every child should have the opportunity to go to school.
Speaking on entrepreneurship, he said that this could help persons to generate their own wealth. The head of state also believes that agro-processing could be one avenue through which entrepreneurship could be explored. Agro-processing has, therefore, remained a key part of the President's mantra in his visits to various communities across the country. He reiterated this call during his visit to Legwan.
But living in Guyana, you can feed yourself with fresh food, fresh fruit every day. You can be prosperous if we make use of what we have. And that is what I want to encourage you children here, to make use of the goods make use of the farm products, make use of the commodities that we produce here. Everything you produce, every planting could be made into plantain chip. Every cassava could be made into cassava chips. Every mango, every simatu, every guava could be made into some form of drink, guava jam, guava jelly, guava cheese. So it is by agro-processing. You can stay right here in Leguan, right here in the Essequibo Islands. But if you embrace a form of employment, you can employ yourself.
In the area of infrastructural development, the president said that the government has done a lot with the aim to provide equal access, particularly in previously overlooked areas.
We have done a lot. We have helped to secure the city fences on this island. We've helped to improve the road network. And we've helped to improve the schools, particularly the nursery schools. So we are going to continue working with the people of Wakanam, with the people of these three islands in Essequibo Islands, West Demerara region, because we believe that all Guyanese should have equal access to the public services. We don't discriminate between what we give to Region 6 and what we give to Region 2, what we give to Region 1 and what we give to Region 9. We want Guyanese in all of the regions, particularly here in Wakanam, which is part of Region 3, Essequibo Islands, West Demerara region, to get the same benefits that we give to people in other parts of the country.
The head of state believes that once these practices are adopted, the country will be on its way toward becoming a nation where every citizen can enjoy a good life. Diversification, political cooperation, and improved social cohesion are key to the economic development of the 10 administrative regions in Guyana. This is particularly true for an agricultural powerhouse like the Pomeroon Suriname, according to the head of state. On April 7, the president visited Region 2 to declare open the Essequibo Agro and Trade Exposition in the township of Anna Regina. The main aim of the two-day event was aptly captured in the theme under which it was held, which was Essequibo Means Business.
Last year, Region 2 produced 85,000 metric tons of rice, 810 metric tons of fish and shrimp, 270,000 metric tons of aquaculture fish, and 44.4 million coconuts. So Region 2 is not poor, Region 2 has potential. This region in 2016 accounted for 16% of total rice production in Guyana, 48% of coconut production in Guyana, 14% of fish production. So you see, there's a lot that we can build upon in Region 2. The region contributes immensely to Guyana's food security. Your economic activities generate wealth. They create jobs. The region has tremendous potential for further development.
For the region to achieve this level of development, the president explained that greater collaboration and cooperation between the regional administration, the Anna Regina Town Council, and the central government is necessary.
Central government cannot run the country on its own. It needs regional administration. The regional administration cannot run this region on its own. It needs municipalities like Anna Regina and neighborhood democratic councils. It needs Amerindian village councils. But all three levels must work together. Municipality must work with region. Region must work with central government. If you are to get the best out of Pomeroon Suriname. So here in Region 2, we have to find a way to work together to unleash this potential that the region has, so that we don't separate ourselves in little cubicles so that we don't divide our neighbors in ways which do not bring about the best result for this region.
The president said that Pomeroon-Supernam needs an economic revival, which would be best achieved through a multi-stakeholder fashioned regional action plan, which is based on 4 pillars: institutions, investment, infrastructure, and information communication technology.
The economy of this region cannot be tied eternally to producing raw materials. This country cannot be tied eternally to producing raw materials. At a national level, we face challenges with raw sugar, raw bauxite, raw timber, raw gold. Unless you start adding value, unless you start refining, unless you start manufacturing, we will not be able to overcome the problems of poverty, and we will not be able to make that breakthrough into prosperity.
Minister of Business, Mr. Dominic Gaskin, whose office has been engaging the region's private sector over the past several months, said that from all indications, the business community as well as regional bodies are ready to scale up value-added production for the export market, and said that government stands ready to support them in this regard.
I also visited a few production facilities and places of business, and I observed firsthand that Essequibo was ready to produce and process foods for overseas markets. And this is precisely what our government wants to promote: the development of our agricultural sector and the development of our value-added sectors and the diversification of our exports. So I'm very happy to be here tonight because I feel that there is a very good understanding at many levels about what is required to move this region forward economically. And I wish to congratulate President Dilip Singh and the executive of the Essequibo Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event and making it a reality. Various business expos are taking place all across Guyana, and these events provide a much needed platform for towns and regions to showcase their talents and showcase their capabilities, and for bringing businesses into contact with each other and with the public.
Regional Chairman Mr. Devanan Ramdat highlighted the regional administration support for both regional and national development.
Let us use the opportunities created here and over the 2 days to think constructively and actively pursue our region's development, which is part of our civic responsibility as citizens of this beloved land. Over the years, Region 2 would have contributed, like I've said, significantly to our country's development, and we want to have continued progress.
The Essequibo Agro and Trade Exposition featured value-added produce, including rice and other agro-processed products, as well as a number of supporting government agencies such as the Guyana Marketing Corporation and the Guyana Office for Investment to give producers and farmers the relevant information and to help them form business linkages.
The Essequibo Chamber of Commerce has been, over the year, engaging government and non-governmental organizations in pursuance of our partnership objective, bearing in focus the development of a green economy and aligning ourselves to the national development strategy.
For many Essequibians, this expo signals a continuation of serious development in the region. March 25th marked the 60th anniversary of the Treaty of Rome, out of which the European Union was born. It was therefore seen as timely that the National Trust of Guyana, the Heritage Society, and the European Union collaborated to launch a book titled Aspects of European Guyanese. President Granger, who attended the launch, which was held at the Pegasus Hotel, said that this publication brings into perspective a particular Guyanese quality of multiculturalism.
The book documents not just the establishment of physical and concrete structures. It doesn't only tell the story of the coming of the peoples, but most important, it tells the story of ideas. So I welcome this publication, Aspects of European Guyanese Heritage. It is a reminder of the legacy of the European presence in Guyana, but also it's a story of continuity, that we Guyanese have chosen not to throw out some of the ideas which we inherited. The colonial era brought people together from Europe, from Asia, from Africa, and we met, of course, the indigenous people. And our multiculturalism is an asset. And we feel that, in a way, although this was not a deliberate act of policy, people just wanted to get cheap sugar. But it created a unique society in which we learned not only to be tolerant, but to love each other and to appreciate the unique talents and the qualities of other ethnic groups, other religious groups.
The president said that as the country worked towards creating a more cohesive society, it is important for Guyanese to know and understand the country's colonial past.
So I do believe that this understanding of our colonial past will instruct us to better understand the issues which face us in the future, particularly as we seek to develop and promote a more cohesive society, a more socially cohesive society.
European ideas have made an indelible mark on the Guyanese society in several areas, all of which have been preserved and to a large extent influenced the country's system of governance.
One of the oldest buildings in the country up to now, and you'll see the photograph in the book if you brought enough to buy it, is something called the Court of Policy, which of course is a sort of proto-National Assembly. Of course it was only for the planters at that time. But there on the island, Flagon Island, what we call Fort Island, is this building which symbolizes, it is perhaps the most iconic building in Guyana's history, that there for over 250 years was an assembly of people regarded as citizens who could come together and decide how the colonies would be administered. So that is, in a sense, the mother of our parliament, the Court of Policy. So it is a European legacy.
The local EU office has committed to ensuring that copies of the books are donated to 150 secondary schools across the country.
This book illustrates the many facets of Guyana's state-building process and how symbols of its statehood have been established and how important it is to value them and uphold them for future generations. I regard the publication of this book as one of the many examples of the excellent cooperation between the European Union and Guyana.
Recognizing that sport has a major role to play in national development and in building social cohesion, the President called for greater collaboration with the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA. The President made this call when he met with FIFA's President, Mr. Gianni Infantino, on Tuesday. He said that FIFA can provide the training and resources needed to raise the profile of football in Guyana on par with that of cricket. The head of state explained that Guyana shares an extensive border with Brazil, which is considered a football powerhouse, and that in many ways has generated great interest and love for the game in Guyana, particularly in the hinterland. Mr. Infantino, who was in Guyana for the South-turning ceremony for the FIFA Forward project at Providence East Bank Demerara, spoke of the possibility of greater collaboration through the mechanism of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM. He also requested that President Granger, who is the current chairman of CARICOM, use his office to ensure a meeting between FIFA and the regional body is included on the agenda for the next Heads of Government Conference. And now we'll take a look inside the President's diary. On Monday, the head of state visited the National Library to sign a book of condolence, which was opened by the library in remembrance of former Secretary General of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, Ms. Carmen Jarvis, who passed away on March 29 at the age of 91. Later that day, he met with members of the West Indies chapter of the Junior Chambers International, Ms. Terry-Ann Bascom, Ms. Deandra Wishart, Ms. Petal Ridley, and Executive Vice President of the JCI West Indies from Antigua, Ms. Shanella Govaya. While in Essequibo on April 7, the President also visited the Guyana Defense Forces Coastal Battalion base in Anna Regina to get a first-hand look at its state of readiness to conduct operations along the coast, in the Pomeroon River, and indigenous communities such as Tapakuma and Mainstay Wayaka. He was accompanied by the Army's Chief of Staff, Brigadier Patrick West. On Thursday, the President met with conservation biologist from the Field Museum of Chicago, Dr. Leslie D'Souza, who made a presentation on scientific research that she has been conducting in Guyana's hinterland over the past 13 years.
Guyana is sitting on riches, not necessarily just literally in the sense of the natural resources here are incredible. You know, the pristine forest, the natural resources throughout the hinterland. This is the land of many waters. So a lot of fresh water, a lot of biodiversity that's here. And really Guyana is part of the Guyana Shield, which is some of the largest tracts of intact forest on the globe. So Guyana has a potential role to play in mitigating climate change for the whole planet. I mean, that's remarkable to think about the potential this country has to impacting the whole planet because of the natural resources here.
And with that, we've come to the end of this week's program. Thank you for joining me. For regular updates on the Ministry of the Presidency, go to our website www.motp.gov.gy. Like our Facebook page, Ministry of the Presidency, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MOTP Guyana. Do have a safe and productive rest of the week. Goodbye.